This next dish that I'm going to show you how to make is super simple, and it appears my theme so far is just super simple. I like to do things that I can marinate and leave it overnight, and then the next day it's ready to go. So it makes it easy for me if I have to work, and then I can come home and it'll be ready to go. This is a 5-spice pork chop, and the way that I cook it, it is so tender and it's very tasty, and it's really good with like a bowl of rice or on a salad or something, because it's savory and it's just super simple. I love dishes that anybody can make because I'm not a trained chef, but I love being able to cook and have people over and, you know, impress them that they think that, you know, I know how to cook. So as long as it's something good and you can share it with people you love, then I think it's always going to be really good. So I have here, this is 6 pork chops, and at the butcher anywhere, it can be thin cut or thick cut, because what you end up doing is you fry it and then you cut it into strips, and so it depends on your preference, but this is kind of a medium one. I have a bowl for mixing, and with this you'll need garlic, shallots, you also need some oyster sauce, some agave nectar. You can use sugar, but I really like the agave nectar in there. Salt and pepper, and then a little splash of soy sauce in there as well. I love garlic, so I use a ton of garlic. So this is purely optional for you. If you like a lot of garlic, use as much as you want. You can never go wrong if you love garlic. It's never too overpowering in my opinion, but I also like to use shallots just to give it extra flavor. So let's cut that up and then put it all together and let it marinate, and then you can get going the next day when you are ready to cook it. Here, I have a mini food processor that I've had for about 10 years that I like to chop garlic and onions in, because I could do this by hand, but it'll take me about 30 seconds in the food processor, so that I totally prefer. So just give it a rough chop so it's not too big, and then I'll just add this. This is what you're looking for. It's a rough chop, so it's not too thin or too macerated, but just enough so it's chunky. I like chunky in this one, so this is what you're looking for. It's actually really funny because whenever I help my mom cook in the kitchen, she loves everything to be chopped by hand because obviously it'll be more uniform. When you use this, some will be smaller, some will be bigger chunks depending on, you know, where the blade hits it. But personally, I am not as picky, but my mom is more old school. But I prefer this. It makes life so much easier. So I'll just put it in a big bowl. I have the shallots and garlic in here. I like to mix the marinade in the bowl first, mix it all together, and then I add the meat. So then it's already mixed together versus sprinkling it on and then it's not uniform. So what we'll do next is add the oyster sauce. 4 tablespoons. Next I add 1.5 tablespoons of agave nectar. Then I add about half a teaspoon of salt. I like to use the Himalayan sea salt. And then I add cracked pepper. And this is all dependent on how much pepper you like. I like a lot, so I put in a ton of black pepper, but it's all preference with the pepper, it's optional. And then you add 2 teaspoons of the 5-spice powder. And 5-spice powder you can find in any Asian Oriental grocery market, and it's super fragrant, and it goes specifically well with chicken and pork. It's always been a winning combination for me to add it to these marinades. And then you mix it all together, and then you add the pork chops, and you want to make sure you give it a good rub. Just want to make sure that every piece of pork chop is marinated and has some of the sauce on there. And this is what you're left with. Because this is a very quick marinade, it takes only about half an hour for you to really get the flavor of it. But the longer you keep it marinated, obviously, the deeper the flavors will be. I like to keep it overnight as kind of an option for the next day if I want to make it for lunch or for dinner. But you only need about 30 minutes, and then you could put it in the frying pan. So I'm going to cover this up and put it in the fridge, and then we'll fry it up. So now that the pork chop has been marinating for about 30 minutes, we will take it to the pan and fry it up, and I'll show you how simple it is and how easy an option it is for a weeknight meal. So I'll just grab a pan. high heat. Give it a minute to heat up. I guarantee you these pork chops are going to be so tasty. About 5 minutes on each side. At this point, actually, I like to cut it. To cut these pork chops into strips, it just makes it easier to eat, and also you get to have more of a little bit of a charredness on each side of it. It smells so good. What I like is because the marinade is so gooey with like all the goodness of the garlic and the shallots, when you cut it up like this, it becomes a sauce for it. And then it caramelizes into such a nice color. It's super flavorful. You can see the color on that is gorgeous. And you just cook it until it's a nice even brown. And it smells super good. And then you're ready to go. It's really good. It depends on how, if you like it more charred, but look at this, it's just yummy. Okay, that's it. And turn off the heat. Okay, that's it, and turn off the heat. And that's it. There you have it, 5 spice pork chops, and I made that in under 10 minutes on the pan and 10 minutes to marinate. So it's one of the easiest dishes that tastes really good with a big bowl of rice. And then I usually like to eat it with just some cucumbers or a side vegetable. You can also add it as a topper for a salad, but super savory, super good, and something that anybody can make even if you're not a super chef. So thank you for watching, and we'll hope you join in next time.